What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, well, we have a proposal, or I'm sorry, a pre-proposal given by the community to essentially give summoners an additional boost, or sorry, not an additional, but a boost on the upcoming land phase 1.5. Now you can see here it's pretty self-explanatory. What the proposal is offering or asking for is to give summoners a 3x production point bonus on land when it comes out. So the thing is, it's not going to matter, you know, what, it doesn't matter like gold foil or not, alpha, beta, those are still going to get their own multipliers. But the feeling behind this, and many people have voiced their concern, so I'm glad that this came to a vote, is the fact that people just feel like summoners were spoken very highly of when it was leading up to land, and that they are disappointed that there was no benefit given to them at all. Now, I'll tell you this right now, the pre-proposal is at like 30% passing, so it's not at this point looking like it's going to pass. I haven't voted on it yet, or no, I'm sorry, I did vote. I did vote against it. So but here's the thing, I understand the argument. I understand the argument, but what gets me is the 3x. It feels a little too high. And some of the comments that I was reading through might be better at like 2x or 1.5x. Again, I'm not against it. I understand the argument. I understand why people are feeling the way that they did, because I even had that same or similar kind of mentality of like, you know what, maybe I should be getting summoners, or it seemed like summoners were going to be required. That was kind of the going thesis with land, that you need to get summoners, and that those summoners would limit the amount of monsters that you have on land. But we're in this situation now, and I trust where Yabamat is coming from, where we just need to get monsters out there. Like in general, we just need to get a ton of monsters out of the ecosystem, out of circulation, and give them utility on something like land. So your rusty androids. I don't have any rusty androids, but for me, that's the Venari Heatsmiths of the world, right? So you need to get them on there, and it shouldn't be limited by summoners. So this kind of proposal isn't actually going against that. It's saying, well, we don't need to limit land by summoners, but we should give summoners a little bit of a boost. So as it currently stands, I think 3x is a little too high in my opinion, at least considering some of the other multipliers out there. I don't know if this is something that can be adjusted in, mid-vote or whatever. Sometimes that does seem allowable, and it's only been out for less than 24 hours. So I personally am not voting for it, but I would be open to a revised version that would give, 1.5x or 2x, just because. And I've said this on live streams many times, and I said it on the 5 biggest takeaways from the previous town hall where Matt was on talking about why summoners didn't get the bonus. Summoners have value. Summoners have intrinsic value, and the proposal is stating that, if you look at the PP to dollar ratio for summoners versus a lot of cards out there, it doesn't even come close. That's why they think like summoners should get a 3x bonus. But again, this is where I come back to, you're looking at summoners on land with kind of like we're kind of just like through goggles, right? Through goggles that are zoomed in, only looking at that. In the entire ecosystem, this whole thing is like, summoners have way more value because they're required for each of the games in which we are currently earning, right? And I would say that, sure, are there summoners at the bottom of that list, your General Sloans, your Veras? Yes, but those still have value, being able to get people into the game, play the game at the low, mid, and high levels, whereas a lot of these monsters just don't. So to me, the purpose of land was to give monsters that are no longer relevant, right? And that goes all the way from alpha and beta up to the Venari Heatsmiths of the world. It's supposed to give those guys some utility, because summoners and any kind of meta cards are always going to be in the game, just because, if they're powerful, then why would you not use them to try and help you in games, right? So with the multipliers as they stand for like alpha and beta, that makes sense. Like a lot of these cards have not kept up with the power creep, and so I don't mind them getting those types of benefits. So I think where what it comes down to is there was this kind of misunderstanding. The team was insinuating certain things, but it always comes back down to nothing is set in stone until the white paper is out, right? So we're always going to have that conflict where people feel like the team is like, hinting at certain things, but then when it actually comes out, it ends up being something different. And I have to be black and white about this, where it's just like, sure, was I looking through? Was I having the same feelings and considering getting summoners and all that? Yes, I was. But then the white paper came out, and I will live with what the white paper says. And again, it seems like the general sentiment is more towards that. Again, I'm not against the idea of summoners getting a boost, but 3x is just a little too high for me, considering everything else and considering the value that summoners do have in other parts of the game, mainly ranked battles, brawls, tournaments, right? So on that whole side, summoners are still very, very powerful and still very have a lot of utility. So land should really be for all of these Venari Heatsmiths and Rusty Androids of the world. So again, I'm just giving you my 2 cents and what this is offering, or what this is offering to do. There's still like 6 days left to vote. So if you want to go in and, vote your conscience and vote for it, do your thing. I'm not going to disagree with you. Again, I'm not against the spirit of what this is trying to accomplish. I just think the manner in which it's being calculated is a little misrepresented, or I don't agree with the way it's being calculated, nor do I necessarily agree with the amount of value that is being given in this change. So that's where I'm voting, but I respect wherever you choose to vote. And we'll see if there can be any changes, or we can find a compromise, because as it currently stands, like I said, it's at about 31 or somewhere in the 30 range percent, but we're still very early. It's only only 1 out of the 7 days so far for this pre-proposal. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Maybe we can chat or continue the discussion there and figure out the best way forward. But that is all I have. Have an amazing rest of your day. I'll catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.